Hi, I'm Claire. I'm a graduate student at CU Boulder, and my project is called Latent Genetic Structure of Sleep Health and Psychopathology. Sleep health is a term that has gained recent popularity and is a multifaceted construct that consists of subjective satisfaction with sleep, alertness during waking hours, sleep duration, timing, regularity, and efficiency of sleep. These components are considered independent and have been uniquely associated with health and well-being outcomes. They also tend to focus on a more positive and global aspect of sleep, as opposed to just pathology or disordered sleep. Sleep problems, however, frequently co-occur and are studied in conjunction with psychopathology. And while they're sometimes considered byproducts or symptoms of psychopathology, it's likely that this relationship is more complex, as there's some evidence that sleep problems remain after treating psychiatric symptoms, and some studies show that treating sleep problems can actually ameliorate psychiatric problems. So here we focus on the sleep health construct to see if its components are genetically separable at the latent level and whether or not there's shared genetic liability between all sleep health factors and psychopathology. We use genomic structural equation modeling, which models genetic covariant structures and performs confirmatory factor analysis on GWAS summary statistic data. All of our GWAS summary stats came from previously published papers listed here in this table, and we used a mix of subjective and objectively measured sleep phenotypes to create 4 factors based on the sleep health construct. We created a disorder factor measured by self-reported insomnia and self-reported short sleep, a timing factor, interpreted here as morningness, measured by self-reported chronotype and objectively measured sleep midpoint, an efficiency factor, measured here by objectively measured sleep efficiency and objective number of sleep episodes, and an alertness factor, interpreted as sleepiness here, measured by subjective daytime sleepiness and objective diurnal inactivity, or total time spent napping or resting outside of the sleep window. So here's our sleep model with those 4 factors. And you can see that there is some genetic separability between those factors, mainly in that the timing factor correlated much lower with efficiency, disorder, and sleepiness than efficiency, disorder, and sleepiness correlated with each other. And here we have the heritabilities of the sleep indicators on the diagonal and genetic correlations between the indicators on the off diagonal. Next, we fit a latent genetic psychopathology model that was largely based on the literature, except we had one thought disorder factor that we ended up splitting into 2 factors because of how schizophrenia and bipolar disorder correlated much more strongly, and OCD and anorexia correlated more strongly. And you can see that the 2 thought disorder factors relate similarly to internalizing, but they actually relate differentially to externalizing. And in this table, we have our latent correlations from our full model between all of the sleep health and psychopathology factors. We find that a genetic liability for disorder or dissatisfaction of sleep correlates most strongly with a genetic liability for internalizing and externalizing. We do also see that sleepiness and efficiency show genetic correlations with internalizing and externalizing, and notably that the timing factor does not correlate with any psychopathology factors. And interestingly, a genetic liability for sleepiness negatively correlates with a liability for anorexia and OCD. So in sum, we found that at the latent level, the facets of sleep health do reflect distinct genetic influences, particularly timing, and that these distinct genetic influences also persist in their associations with psychopathology. We found a genetic liability for alertness, sleep efficiency, and less disorder or dissatisfaction correlate with a lower genetic liability for internalizing and externalizing. And while disorder did show the biggest correlations with psychopathology, these correlations also show that it's important to consider the other components of sleep health too when taking into account the relationship between sleep and psychopathology. Thank you.